Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. How are you? So nice to be here, checking in with some people this morning on Facebook Live. And if you are a regular watcher of me, you know that I'm pretty new to this, so I'm still working on refining my ability to be here in front of people. So welcome. Hey, good morning. You know who you are. I wanted everyone to know that it's Osteoporosis Awareness Month. So with everything else going on in our world, we have maybe forgotten about some of the other things that are important to be paying attention to. And what better time for many of us to be doing some little things that can make a big difference in our health. So I'm in my 50s. So once we get sort of over that age of 55-ish, we start to, did I say 55? I meant 45. Hopefully I said 45. So right around the age of 45, many women start to experience some changes in their bodies, and that one of the changes that happens is the decrease in estrogen in our bodies. And with that, we get all kinds of interesting, maybe not so enjoyable things like that lack of elasticity in our skin, maybe have a little signs of aging around our eyes, and also our hair. You can see my little streak of gray. So these are all the signs that the hormone levels in our body are changing. And sometimes we have some sleep issues that start happening, and some other things that let's not go into this morning. But because the other thing is that as we hit premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, our bones can really start changing. And if we are not paying attention or we're not aware, we can start to see a decrease in our bone density, and we may or may not realize that bone density starts decreasing, and you may go have what's called a DEXA scan at some point, and you may be told that you have osteopenia or osteoporosis. So about half of the women in this country, I'm in the US right now, do end up with a diagnosis of osteoporosis. And unfortunately, the way it's diagnosed is often after a fall and a broken bone. That fall can happen in any setting. It may be in your own home. It does not necessarily happen on that icy, slippery place. That certainly can be one of the places. But the places that we break our bones tend to be the wrists and the hip. So obviously, other places can break, but those are the two biggies. You start to lose your balance, you put your hand out, and many times women do get their hand out and break the fall, but the wrist is where it's broken. Now, for my job, that would be terrible. Well, now it wouldn't matter so much because I'm online all the time, but generally, PTs and other people that work with their hands do not want to break their wrist. The other area, the hip, is also really concerning because that changes your life for a good 2 months minimum. But many of the women who do break a bone and then are told you have osteoporosis never knew they did. So I like to sort of assume that all of us that are over 50 in particular are on this quest to keep our bones strong. So it doesn't matter to me whether you have osteopenia or osteoporosis. I'm going to treat you and do your exercise as if we need to strengthen that bone, and maybe you even already have some bone breaking down. So what are the big things you can do? So fear of breaking a bone can often lead people to draw back from their exercise, especially those more fun things like dancing or going to yoga class. Another one that comes to mind is like Tai Chi. So these are things that involve movement, maybe causing you to go side to side or to bend up and down. But honestly, if you can keep up with those things and even increase, you're often better off in the long run because you are building bone. So anything that causes you to load your bones, so walking is a fantastic way to load your lower body bones, so your tibia and your femur. So I brought a femur along. Here is a femur. So this is the big bone of your thigh, and this one right here is a right femur. So where we see the breakdown in the bone and the fractures is often right here, and this is called the neck of the femur. So this is where the socket that fits into your pelvis happens, and that's your hip joint. And then when we fall, we sometimes fall on that. This is the greater trochanter. It's the place that's the widest in your hips. So when you fall, you tend to fall here, and the break can happen here. So when we're walking, so imagine you're walking along. Every step you take, you are putting weight through the head of this femur here, through the neck, and down through the long bone, right through here where you end up with your knee joint. So walking is a fantastic way to increase. Thank you for that little thumbs up. I appreciate knowing someone's watching. Woohoo, thank you. So when you're walking, you are putting weight through this joint and this bone and strengthening it. You can walk outside, you can walk inside. You obviously want to take the precautions of walking with somebody if your balance isn't great, but increasing the walking. So one way to start increasing your walking, so you can't increase your walking if you don't know what you're walking now. So I want you to start tracking over maybe the next few days, how much do you walk in a day? A couple of free apps. So if you've got a smartphone, there's a couple of free apps you can look at. So one is, I think it's called Pacer, P-A-C-E-R. Pacer, it's a free download on your iPhone. Another one is Strava, and these both have free versions. Or you may have a little pedometer that you can use, or maybe you have a Fitbit or a smart watch. So just start tracking, maybe for 5 or 7 days, how many steps a day you do get in. And then once you have that baseline, you can start increasing it. Now, if you do Google Osteoporosis Awareness Month, and there's some recommendations, they're recommending 10,000 steps a day, seeing if in May you can get 10,000 steps a day. All right, I will admit 10,000 steps a day, if you have not been doing very much, is a big increase. That is roughly 5 miles. So to go from nothing to 5 miles would be a huge increase. So don't do that. But whatever you come up with as your baseline, then you're going to start increasing that slowly. We don't want to increase too fast because then you might get some overuse injuries, and that's a whole other thing. So very slowly, maybe increase by 500 steps, increase by 1,000 steps over a couple weeks. See if you can get those steps up and up and up. All right, the other thing, so I promised 2 tips. So the other thing that you can do is start increasing another activity. So walking is great. You've got that load bearing on the lower legs, but it doesn't always do a ton to get the upper body and to get your balance challenged. So obviously, I'm going to say yoga is one of those things that can really help start getting your body and working your balance. And then we get down on the floor, so getting up and down off the floor is important. But there are other things, dancing, if there's something that you like to dance. So I do work with somebody who just likes to do a dance at home. She just turns on the music and she just does her own home dance party. So, for those of us that ever watched Grey's Anatomy, just watching the gals do a dance party, you could do that. And a dance class online right now, maybe you have a favorite dance class that you could start doing, whether it's A bar class could be fun, but it's just something where your body's moving outside of the normal movement that you would do on an average day. So those are my 2 tips for today. So you want to increase your walking and then find some movement-based exercise that's fun. So if it's not fun, you're not going to do it and it's not going to help. So find something that's fun. We want fun. I have been working with a small group of women online, April and now May, and we started off just doing yoga, but they were really asking me, Andrea, can we do some weights? I don't want to break my hip, but what can I do to stay strong? So we've really evolved into not only just doing yoga, but working on some upper body strength with weights. If you would like to join us, send me an email. It's still early May. There's a lot of time left. You could join us. And then just check in here maybe next week. I'm going to try to start for the month of May for osteoporosis awareness, give more tips and more ideas and start helping you figure out how you can work on your own strength so that you don't have a fall, don't break a bone, and hopefully not get that diagnosis of osteopenia or osteoporosis. More tips next week. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Friday. I hope the sun is out wherever you are. We're hoping to not get snow today. That will be in tomorrow. That's my hope. Please let the forecast be wrong. I do not want snow. I want green grass. My daffodils are just barely blooming. All right. Hey, have a great day. Thanks for stopping in. Send me an email, andrea@andreatrombley.com, if you have any questions, if you want to join us, and more tips coming at you. All right. Bye, everybody.